श्रुति स्मृति पुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शंकरं लोकशंकरं शंकरं शंकराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेद विभागिने व्योमवत् व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणीम्। यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्र रुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः। Yeah. Who is chanting now? Yeah.
Narayan ji.
Narayan ji. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. Okay. Let's chant from 45. प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु
प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु
योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः
योगी संसिद्ध किल्बिषः
अनेक जन्म संसिद्धः
अनेक जन्म संसिद्धः
ततो याति परां गतिम्
ततो याति परां गतिम्
तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी
तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी
ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः
ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः
कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी
कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी
तस्माद्योगी भवार्जुन
तस्माद्योगी भवार्जुन
योगिनामपि
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो माम्
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो माम्
Same yuktatamo mataha.
समे युक्ततमो मतः
Om Tatsat.
ॐ तत्सत्
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
Upanishatsu
उपनिषत्सु
Brahma Vidyayam
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
Yoga Shastre
योगशास्त्रे
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
कृष्णार्जुनसंवादे
Atma Samyama Yogo Nama
आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम
Shashthodhyayah.
षष्ठोऽध्यायः।
So with verse number 45, Prayatnat Yadamanastu. So with that, the Dhyana Phalam, the benefits of Dhyana has been completed by Sri Krishna, thereby actually completing the entire topic of Dhyanam or Atma Samyama Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. And last two shlokas, 46 and 47, are a conclusion, a glorification of this Dhyana Yoga, glorification, importance of it. And so we saw that in 46, he said that yogi who has gone through this process is somebody who's now is a Jivan Mukta, has attained that moksha for which all this tapas, all the karma yoga, jnana yoga, and all the disciplines we talked about were meant for. And so that person is a yogi, is what was said here in 46. And so 47, okay, continuing that glorification, he says, let's see what he says. So he says, Saha Yukta Tamaha, second line, last few words, Saha Yukta Tamaha. That person is a Yukta Tamaha. So now I think many of you know that the suffix Tama refers to superlative. Yuktaha, Yukta Taraha, Yukta Tamaha. And so the greatest Yukta, that person is the greatest Yukta. And so who is a Yukta? Again, comes from the root Yuj, from which the word yoga itself comes. So one who has mastered oneself, one who has known what is to be known in life, one who has achieved the purpose of life. That person is a Yukta Tamaha, correct? And there can't be anything else to do. When the job is over, what is there to do? Nothing is there to do. Job is over, finished, sign off. And so that person is a Yukta Tamaha, he says. Who is that person? Okay. And he says, the person who is Shraddhavan. Okay, Shraddhavan. Shraddhavan, I think none of you should ask me what is the meaning of Shraddhavan. Why? Because in the fourth chapter, Shraddhavan, Labhate Dhyanam. Like that we studied long ago. Okay. So let's say Shraddhavan, the one who has Shraddha. Why Shraddha? Because this thing, this Vedanta is so interesting. It seems to have no benefit at all. And nobody is going to pay you for it. And in fact, you have to end up paying. You have to end up paying to attend these classes. And so and then you don't get anything. You can't put it in your resume, and people look at you and say, "What is this guy? Is doing something Bhagavad Gita? So this guy is finished, gone case. We're all gone cases." And so that's why Shraddha is needed, because Shastram, doesn't tell you anything big, and it keeps saying the same thing again and again also. And so therefore Shraddha is so important in this. And then Yaha Mam Bhajate, the one who contemplates upon me. Bhajate here is not just bhajan karna. Bhajan karna is okay, one type of bhajate. But here, one who understands me, one who contemplates on me. And in what way? Madgatena antaratmana. Madgatena antaratmana. Antaratmana. So with a mind that is madgatena, has gone inside me, means it's a mind that is absorbed in me, absorbed in the vision. Once you see the vision, then you're absorbed in it. You can't take your mind away from it because it is jnana. If it is not jnanam, if it is experience, then your mind will automatically go away from it. Then you will seek it again. Then you will come back to it. Then you'll leave it. Then you'll come back to it, etc. But here there is no coming back and going back. So madgatena antaratmana. Why no coming back, going back? Because it is jnanam, knowledge. The knowledge is like light. Once the light comes, then it stays. And then and then one more adjective is given here. Yoginam api sarvesham yoginam yuktatama. If you say greatest compared to what? Well, sarvesham yogina. All yogis that you know of, all yogis I ever mentioned. I mentioned karma yogi, I mentioned jnana yogi, I mentioned shravana yogi, I mentioned manana yogi, I mentioned all kinds of yogis, all the yogas. Yoga means discipline, remember. Everybody, discipline is important. We have to follow the disciplines. So every discipline add a yoga to it, and all those yogis. Compared to that, he is the greatest. Means what? Means other people are all inferior or what? No, not like that. But the journey is described here by saying Yukta Tamaha, that journey is described. And there is a culmination to that journey. That is the meaning of this statement. Whenever a comparison is done, Krishna is not interested in putting down anybody or anything like that. And neither is he interested in praising anybody. Praising is important only to highlight to us that there is something that I must look forward to. And I want to be like that person. That inspiration is given. Therefore, praise is also given. So here, yoginam api sarvesham yuktatamaha saha me mataha. That is my vision. Like that, he concludes this chapter. And so the one who meditates on that identity between Jiva and Ishvara, Jiva and Parameshvara, once that identity is understood, after that, Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma, and then I am that Brahma. I'm not separate from anything here. All along I've been thinking Ishvaraha. Ishvaraha asti, kintu Ishvaraha parokshaha. Ishvara is out there. I must go and somehow work hard to get him. And then Shastram says, no, you don't have to work hard to get him. You have to work hard to decondition yourself from that thought that I have to go and get him, because there is no difference between me and Ishvara. And that Atma I am, and Brahma, Ishvara, Brahma, and Atma I are identical. Okay, so Aham Brahmasmi. So that's the purpose of the meditation here. And with that, Swami Paramahanandaji says here, Yukta Tamaha, one is a yogi, another is a yogier, and you are a yogiest. So be a yogiest, so superlative, right? So this is that. And so we derive a lot of inspiration from our Swamis. So OmTatSat iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So in this manner, everything that is here is Om Ishvaraha. And in this Bhagavad Gita, which has many chapters, and Karma Yoga, okay, and then which is in the form of a dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna. This 6th chapter completes Samaptihi, whose title is Dhyana Yoga, and sometimes also called Atma Samyama Yoga. And thus this chapter gets completed. So what I'll do now is, now that we have some time, maybe we can use this opportunity to summarize the 6th chapter. Hope may take more than the allotted time here. Okay. So we are summarizing chapter 6, and The topic of this chapter is, yeah, or the meaning of the shloka, huh? Okay, all right. So in my eagerness to give you all the summary, download summary, we're all good at downloading, right? So press the button, download. So, okay, let me give you the meaning. The one who has Shraddha, comma, who with a mind absorbed in me, the one who has Shraddha, who with a mind absorbed in me, comma, contemplates upon me, comma, contemplates upon me, she is the most exalted among all yogis, full stop. She is the most exalted among all yogis. Within brackets, this is my vision. This is my vision. This is in brackets because the Eshaha is not there. That word Eshaha, this is not in this shloka. This is my vision. The one who has Shraddha, comma, who with a mind absorbed in me, comma, contemplates upon me, comma, he is the most exalted among all yogis, full stop. This is my vision. Yeah, got it? Yeah. And the translation for the Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So I think you already done it 5 times. So I don't need to repeat that, right? No, I forgot where I kept my Swamiji jokes. And then we tell something. Yeah, you'll tell me something. I forgot where I kept my notes. All these problems will come, and I couldn't get the notes before the class. All these things, but it's the same conclusion there. Okay. Anything else pending? Yeah, Mahesh, go ahead.
This, you explain this. This is my vision. What is the word? Is this me mataha?
Me mataha, correct.
So
me
in the
mataha.
previous shloka in 646, we said mata is considered, correct?
Mata, this is my considered opinion, right? They say, right? Considered view, right? So there we said considered.
So
Considered to be.
okay, mata is so where is the vision word in this?
Mataha, man,
mata?
man vichare. So here, this is my considered view. Yes, this is my vision.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, Dhyana Yoga, Atma Samyama Yoga. So, Atma Samyama. So, you find these two different words being used in different Bhagavad Gita books. And so, it refers to the same 6th chapter. And Atma Samyama means self-mastery. Dhyanam leads to self-mastery. So, both are identical. And so, the order is this. One does Dhyanam. Dhyanam can be done without studying Shastram also. And many people meditate. Okay, so meditation is not new. And so that Dhyanam is Saguna Brahma Vishaya Dhyana. Okay, means Ishvara with a form. Because that's what we can relate to. You cannot relate to the formless. Okay, nobody can relate to the formless. Something you have to be able to imagine and you can relate to. Okay. And so that Saguna Brahma Vishaya Dhyanam is there. Then after that, Shravana, then one comes to Shastram. Okay. Ideal situation I'm talking about. Then Shravanam, Mananam, Ityadi. Then for those who have not done the Upasanam, that first Dhyanam is called Upasanam. And we need what is called Medidyasanam. Medidyasanam is this particular dhyanam of the vision, the teaching, and which ends up being Nirguna Brahma Vishaya Dhyanam. Means Nirguna Brahma Vishaya Vicharaha. So whatever was studied in Shravanam and Mananam, whatever was assimilated is now recalled. Recalled. Why do you have to recall it? Because I need to digest it. I need to dwell upon it. I need to dwell upon it so that this Viparita Bhavana goes in. What is Viparita Bhavana? We talked about the feeling that I've studied, but really it has not made an impact in my life. That is called Viparita Bhavana. Correct? I've studied so much, but nothing has happened to me. This feeling can be there. It's called Viparita Bhavana. So Upanishad also talks about it. And so for that, Medidyasanam is needed. And if the Viparita Bhavana is not there, the job is over. And so the Viparita Bhavana, it's like oil just settling on top of the water. It's not mixed with the water. And so Nididhyasanam is needed. So Upasanam, which is the basic Dhyanam, or Saguna Brahma Dhyanam, then Shravanam Mananam, then Nididhyasanam. Okay, which is, you can say advanced Dhyanam if you want to use a word like that. What does Nididhyasanam do? It gives us what is called Jnana Nishtha. Jnana Nishtha, and clarity and steadfastness in that knowledge. Okay. So the question now is, does Dhyanam give knowledge? If somebody asks that question, then what do we say? What will our answer be? Well, Jnanam is knowledge. Knowledge is Prama. Prama is also knowledge only. And for every piece of knowledge, you need what is called Pramanam. Prama requires a Pramanam. Knowledge requires a means of knowledge. Okay. Suppose I ask you, what is this? And you say it is a clock. Then how do you know it's a clock? Well, I've seen it before. Plus, I'm operating my eyes now, and I see that you're holding a clock in your hand. Okay. So Pramanam is your eyes. Eyes are the Pramanam. Ears are the Pramanam. So Pratyaksha Pramanam, Pratyakshadi, Anumanam, etc. is a Pramanam. Those 4, 5, how many ever. Some people talk about more also, but still everything, different types of perception and inferences, types of inferences. And then Shastram is a Prama. Correct? Shastram, which essentially tells me who I am. A mirror. Shabda Prama. Okay. Now, Dhyanam, is it a Pramanam or not? If somebody asks, then we will say, Dhyanam is not a Pramanam. Nothing new will get created in Dhyanam. That is why Dhyanam has to be preceded by Shravanam. Shravanam means listening to the Shastra. Then only Dhyanam is meaningful. Otherwise, you can meditate on things like, mountains and rivers and nice. You can put on the, beautiful music of, raindrops falling in the swamps and all those things. It's also good, very relaxing. Nothing wrong with that. But that is not what we are talking about here. Okay. So therefore, chapter 6 is which kind of Dhyanam? The basic Dhyanam or the advanced Dhyanam? Upasanam or Nididhyasanam? If we ask, then we have to say chapter 6 is Medidyasanam, correct? Not the basic Dhyanam. Because Krishna feels Arjuna has done that Shravanam. Shravanam is over, teaching is over. And so now he is ready for Medidyasanam. Okay. And nowhere else this kind of detail is given. The detail given in the 6th chapter. And in the sense, Upanishads and other Granthas also such detail is not given. Therefore, this chapter becomes very important for us. And there are 5 sections in this chapter. Okay. And Bahiranga Sadhanani, general disciplines. Okay. I'll repeat that so you don't have to write it down now. So general disciplines, then disciplines you have to follow just prior to meditation. General disciplines is every day to be followed. And prior to meditation, what steps to take, etc. They are called Antaranga Sadhanani, specific. The disciplines specific to Dhyanam. And then what is Dhyanam? Okay, some sections are going to talk about that. What is Dhyanam? And then Dhyana Phalam. What is the result of this Dhyanam? That is the fourth section. And the fifth will be obstacles to Dhyanam. What are the obstacles? Okay, those are the 5 sections. And then there is a sixth section called this Yoga Brashtaha. This question asked by Arjuna, remember Yoga Brashtaha. And what happens to the person who has not achieved what he came to achieve? Well, that is not directly related to Dhyanam. Okay, so that's just another section in this chapter. Okay, so we're going to look at each section one after the other. So this Bahiranga Sadhanani, general disciplines, is the first section of this chapter. General disciplines that one can follow, one can be guided by. Okay, so these are from Shlokas 1 to 9 and 16 and 17. So let us chant that 1 to 9 and then 16, 17. Okay, so let us chant that. Who is yeah, Bhagya. Shri Bhagavanuvach
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
Anashritah Karma Phalam
Anashritah Karma Phalam
Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha
Karyam Karma Karoti Yaha
Sasanyasi Cha Yogi Cha
Sasanyasi Cha Yogi Cha
Na Niragnir Na Chakriyaha
Na Niragnir Na Chakriyaha
Yam Sanyasamiti Prahuhu
Yam Sanyasamiti Prahuhu
Yogam Tam Vidhi Pandava
Yogam Tam Vidhi Pandava
Nahya Sanyasta Sankalpaha
Nahya Sanyasta Sankalpaha
Yogi Bhavati Kaschana
Yogi Bhavati Kaschana
Arurukshor Muner Yogam
Arurukshormuner Yogam
Karma Karana Muchyate
Karma Karana Muchyate
Yoga Rudhasya Tasyaiva
Yoga Rudhasya Tasyaiva
Shamah Karana Muchyate
Shamah Karana Muchyate
Yada Hinendriyartheshu
Yada Hinendriyartheshu
Na Karma Swanushajjate
Na Karmasvanushajjate
Sarva Sankalpa Sanyasi
Sarva Sankalpa Sanyasi
Yoga Rudhastadochyate
Yoga Rudhastadochyate
Uddharedatmanatmanam
Uddharedatmanatmanam
Natmanam avasadayet
Natmanam abasadayet
Atmaiva Hyatmano Bandhuhu
Atmaiva hyatmano bandhuhu
Atmaiva Ripuratmanaha
Atmaiva ripuratmanaha
Bandhuratmatmanastasya
Bandhuratmatmanastasya
Yenatmaivatmana jitaha
Yenatmaivatmana jitaha
Anatmanastu shatrutve
Anatmanastu shatrutve
Vartetatmaiva shatruvat
Vartetatmaiva shatruvat
Jitatmanah prashantasya
Jitatmanah prashantasya
Paramatma samahitaha.
परमात्मा समाहितः
Shitoshna sukha dukkheshu.
शीतोष्णसुखदुःखेषु
Tatha manapamanayoh.
तथा मानापमानयोः
Jnana vijnana triptatma.
ज्ञानविज्ञानतृप्तात्मा
Kutastho vijitendriyaha.
कूटस्थो विजितेन्द्रियः
Yukta ityuchyate yogi.
युक्त इत्युच्यते योगी
Samaloštashmakaञ्चनः.
समलोष्टाश्मकाञ्चनः
सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीन मध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु.
सुहृन्मित्रार्युदासीनमध्यस्थद्वेष्य बन्धुषु
साधुष्वपि च पापेषु.
साधुष्वपि च पापेषु
समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते.
समबुद्धिर्विशिष्यते.
Yeah. So we'll chant 16 and 17 when we chant the other verses also, along with the other verses. Okay. So this is general disciplines, what we chanted just now. And what are these general disciplines? First, karma yoga. Karma yoga. And very important because it has Ishwararpana buddhi and Prasada buddhi. That karma yoga dramatically alters our attitude towards life. Correct? I think by now, since you've thought through it, we don't need much introduction to this. And so whatever I do is to be done, and therefore there is no question here of one being greater than the other. Whatever I do needs to be done, and therefore my attitude is going to be Ishwararpana buddhi. Why? What is to be done is dharma, and dharma is Ishvara. And so I'm in consonance with Ishvara. I'm in harmony with Ishvara when I do what is to be done at any given moment. If what I do, if I like, then that's great. I like what I do. Therefore, great, no problem, no conflict, nothing. Suppose I don't like what I do. I'm supposed to do something but I don't like. Okay. So I have to clean up the house. Okay, it's going to take a long time. So 1 hour and 2 hours. These days, 1 hour, 2 hours means it's a big thing, right? Time is money, they say. And so where is the time? And so you have to reorganize your entire life before you reorganize your house, that's how it is. And but then you learn to like what you do. And once you do, even what you don't like, still at the end of it, you can say, job is done. What I've been postponing it for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. Now the job is done. So you feel happy. You know why? Because dharma. And so that is so important. And so prasada buddhi, of course, and it's the greatest shock absorber any human being has had. And so therefore that person, this is a prerequisite for dhyanam, because there are no longer reactions or even violent reactions. And reactions may be there, but gets subdued, and no more angry outbursts. All those things are a thing of the past. And so therefore the person will enjoy the capacity to sit for half an hour, 1 hour, whatever time it is, and to be free of all preoccupations, free of all concerns, anxieties, etc. will not be there. So that is why karma yoga is so important. And that is why we don't suggest dhyanam to everybody. Come on, do meditation. No, we don't do that. Dhyanam is not for everybody. And so important to keep in mind. Therefore, first shloka, he says, anashrita karma phalam karyam karma karoti yaha. So karma phalam anashritya, without depending on the results of one's actions. The one who does karma, karyam karma karotiyah, sa sannyasi cha yogi cha. That person is a sannyasi, that person is a yogi. Over. Story is over. He says this is the trick, this is the clue. And everything else is a detail. Like that he says. And not the one who is a niragnihi, one who has taken up the sannyasa, given up these clothes and worn walker robes. That person is a sannyasi, you think? No, this person, one who has attitude towards karma and karma phala, that person is a sannyasi or yogi, he says. So that's the importance of karma yoga here. So that is the first general discipline, bahiranga sadhanam, called karma yoga. Then second, self-confidence. Okay, one must have confidence over oneself. One must, some basic minimum self-confidence is needed, and so that we don't get discouraged, we don't get in general sidetracked and things like that. So that is required in all our pursuits in our life. Generally it is required, but in this case even more required because of the nature of this particular pursuit. And so uddhared atmanatmanam anatmanam avasadayet. So that is number 5. You can see that is mentioned. May one take care of oneself. And in Annapurna Ashtakam, Shankaracharya says, so it begins with Annapurne. No, it begins with so anyway, but it ends like this. How does it end? It ends Annapurne Sadapurne. Shankara Prana Vallabhe Jnana Vairagya Siddhyartham Bhiksham Dehi Cha Parvati. And then what does it say after that? Mata cha Parvati Devi Pita Devo Maheshwaraha. Then Bandavaha Shiva Bhaktascha Swadesho Bhuvanatre. So it says Shiva and Parvati are my mother and father. Okay. And Vishnu Bhaktas can replace Shiva and Parvati with Vishnu, Lakshmi, etc. Not a problem. We don't have a problem. So, and that means what? We are all children of the same Ishvara. That means all of us are really brothers and sisters by this view. And if my view is no, this is my father and mother, and I have 2 brothers and 1 sister, if I say, okay, that is okay. That is a good way to start life. And then, but how about ending life? Same way I'm going to start or what? End life or what? No. I am part of the whole. The whole is incomplete without me. And therefore, and Bandavaha, Shiva Bhaktaha, all people are all the Shiva Bhaktas are my relatives only. Swadesho Bhuvanatrayam. This entire, all the 3 worlds that Narada has visited, I have not visited, you can say, but that is Narada has visited my place only. All I have to do is talk to Narada. Hey, what's going on? What's going on in Indraloka? What is the latest? Tomorrow, what is the dance program there? Let us know. So all that we can have a dialogue. So this universe belongs to me. I'm part of the universe. And so no need to get upset. No need to feel isolated. It is important to recall so that I can feel that I am okay and I am, I have a purpose in life. And so one feels inspired. And so there's no place for fatalism in Sanatana Dharma. And they say karma is fatalism, etc. Karma is fatalism for the person who does not understand karma. Okay. So therefore, I have what? I have 3 kinds of kripa. So I was saying 3 kinds of kripa. Did you hear that? Yeah, you heard that. Okay. So kripa. So 3 kinds of help I have. What kind of kripa? Grace or compassion. 3 kinds of grace I have. What is it? First is Ishvara kripa. Correct? Ishvara kripa. That's why it is important to be connected with our dharma, with our religion. And so Ishvara kripa comes automatically. And second is what? Guru Kripa. Guru Kripa. So once Ishvara is there, then my Guru is the one who guides me in my life, and therefore Guru Kripa is there. And then Guru uses the Shastram, therefore Shastra Kripa. Shastra Kripa. So these three, if they are there in my life, then it's going to be a big blessing. And therefore, with that in view, self-confidence can be there, and so there is no reason for me to feel lonely, etc. There's no question of that. Therefore, Krishna highlights that. He dedicates one shloka for that. Dhared natmanam avasadaye. Do not condemn yourself for any reason. There is no such thing called failure. Therefore, condemnation is not to be encouraged at all. And comparison, etc. If at all any comparison is there, compare for this to get inspired. You can compare if you want to, but otherwise comparison is discouraged. No, don't compare, because my comparison is going to be on small things, and so comparison will become an obstruction, an obstacle in my spiritual pursuit. Okay, and so we saw karma yoga, first discipline, and self-confidence, and then self-mastery. And this body and mind and senses that I have, these are all, knowing that these are not myself, knowing that I am not the body, I am somebody who is using the body, I'm somebody who is using the mind. Okay, I'm somebody who's using the senses. Senses are useless without just being there. I must know when to use it. And so that knowledge, I must know when to use it, how to use it, when to stop using it. All these things belongs to me. That knowledge is required. And so therefore they are called instruments. Our Shastram is very clear. Karanam, they call it Karanam, instrument itself. Like a knife is an instrument in my hands. I must know how to use it. I must be clear. And the chef is a master, and the person has different kinds of knives, and he knows what to use when and how to protect the knife also. And knives also sharpened everything, and the knife has a nice, they have a nice little wooden receptacle for this knife. Looks very good. And so the knife edges also, by chance also, it won't hit any metal, and so that the knife continues to remain sharp and does its job. And some serrated knives are there, and some are flat knives, etc. So like that, my body is also an instrument. My sense organs and mind are instruments, and therefore I must use it as such. I must keep them in good shape. And so therefore self-mastery is very important. It is not a joke. And therefore here Krishna says in shloka number 7, jitat manaha. Okay, jitat manaha. And then again in shloka number 8, last word of the first line, jitendriyaha or vijitendriyaha. Vijitendriyaha. When we used to chant this Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam, Hanuman, there is a nice shloka. Manojavam Maruta Tulya Vegam, Jitendriyam. The word Jitendriya comes there. The person who's a master of himself herself. He is not going to get carried away by anything. That is the meaning for Hanuman. And so that word always used to appeal to me. And everywhere you go, Jitendriyatvam, even Krishna keeps repeating this word everywhere. So this is not new to you. And therefore, so this self-mastery also is needed. Even to lead a happy life, one needs it. So what to talk of this Shastram pursuit, spiritual pursuit. Okay. And the last general discipline is moderation. Moderation. And so no need to discuss that. I think all of you know the importance of moderation in all our activities. And tendency can be to keep doing something, work hard, and then suddenly get tired and then do some exercise for 3 hours, 4 hours, and then come back. And the person is constantly complaining of some pain or the other. What happened? You're doing a lot of exercise, you have a gym subscription and all that. What happened? Yeah, 3 days a month I go to the gym, and then I work hard, really hard, and So this kind of stuff, we don't know how long this will last. And so Krishna himself says moderation is important. And that he says in Shloka number 16. Okay. Na ati ashnatastu yogosti na chaikanta manashnataha. And in Shloka number 17 also he says that. Yuktahara viharasya. Just food and sleep. Consumption, food consumption and sleep. He refers to that in both these shlokas. Okay. So excessive consumption or just not eating at all. Fasting is okay, but not just purely not eating anything and things like that. So periodic fasting is good. And so he's made that point of balance in whatever we do, balance in even sleep. And so if somebody says, no, you're sleeping too much, etc., there also we have to be careful, because some people need to sleep a little more, 7 hours, maybe even 8 hours is needed. Some people can get away with 4 hours of sleep, and so good. It's a bonus for them. And let's see how they use that bonus 3 hours. Let's see how they use it, right? That'll be the question. Okay. So all these 4 are what? Bahiranga sadhanahi, general disciplines. Everybody with me so far? Okay, good. Then next set of shlokas, antaranga sadhanahi. So disciplines that have to be followed specific to Dhyanam, specific to the time of meditation. So these are from shlokas 10 to 15, which we are going to chant now. Yeah, so Vijay is already kind of booked people, I think. So yeah. Who is next, Vijay? Yeah, I know some of you have raised your hands, Ramesh, Bhagyalakshmi, Lakshmi, etc. Let's wait.
Rukmini ji is there.
Okay. Yeah, there she is. Okay. So number 10. Yogi Yunjita Satatam. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, here I am.
Yeah, there. Yogi Yunjita Satatam.
Yogi Yunjita Satatam.
Atmanam Rahasi Sthitaha.
Atmanam Rahasi Stitaha.
Ekaki Yata Chittatma.
Ekaki Yata Chittatma.
Nirashira Parigraha.
Nirashira Parigraha.
Shuchau Deshe Pratisthapya.
Shuchau Deshe Pratishtapya.
Sthiramasanam Atmanaha.
Sthiramasanam Atmanaha.
Natyuchritam Nati Nicham.
Natyuchitam Nati Nicham.
Chailajina Kushottaram.
Shailajina Kushottaram.
Tatraikagram Manah Kritva.
Tatraikagram Manakritva.
Yata Chittendriya Kriya.
Yata Chittendriya Kriyaha.
Upavishyasane Yunjyat.
Upavishyasane Yunjyat.
Yogamatma Vishuddhaye.
Yogamatma Vishuddhaye.
Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam.
Samam Kaya Shiro Grivam.
Dharayanna Chalam Sthiraha.
Dharayanna Chalam Stiraha.
Samprekshyanasikagram Swam.
Samprekshya Nasikagram Swam.
Dishascha
Dishasyanavalokayan.
Prashantatma Vigatabhihi.
Prashantatma Vigatabhihi.
Brahmachari Vrate Sthitaha.
Brahmachari Vrate Stitaha.
Manas samyamya machittaha.
Manas samyamya machitaha.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Yukta asita matparaha.
Yunjannevam sadatmanam.
Yunjannevam sadatmanam.
Yogi niyatamanasah.
Yogi niyatamanasah.
Shantim nirvana paramam.
Shantim nirvana paramam.
Mat samstham adhigacchati.
Matsamstam adhigacchati.
Natyashnatastu yogosti.
Natyashnastu yogosti.
Na chaikantamanashnataha.
Na chaikantamanashnataha.
Na chati swapnashilasya.
Na chati swapnasilasya.
Jagrato naiva charjuna.
Jagrato naiva charjuna.
Yuktahara viharasya.
Yuktahara viharasya.
Yukta cheshtasya karmasu.
Yukta cheshtasya karmasu.
Yukta swapnavabodhasya.
Yukta swapnavabodhasya.
Yogo bhavati dukkhaha.
Yogo bhavati dukkhaha.
So, antaranga sadhana. Disciplines that are specific to Dhyanam. Preparatory steps to Dhyanam. And so, what are these steps? There are about 8 factors Shri Krishna mentions. First factor is place. So, what kind of place you want to choose? And so, you may have a lot of options. At home, there is dining room, there is kitchen, there is this, there is that, all kinds of rooms are there. And so, ideally, Krishna says, don't use kitchen and all that. Don't meditate in your kitchen, because kitchen is a place where you do a specific act of cooking and washing your dishes and things like that. So unnecessarily, why why bring all those thoughts? Already we are trying to say, let's keep bahyan sparshan bahih kritva. We start the meditation this way, and then keep all the thoughts away, keep all these roles away, we say. And then on top of that, you're sitting in a kitchen and all these smells, all this chili powder and all that, turmeric and all that. Why all these things, So just choose a place which is conducive for meditation. So Shloka number 11. Shuchau deshe pratishtapya. So let there be a clean place, and a place that you can create your own place also. It can be a corner, it can be middle of the room, it can be your puja room, whatever. But that's where you feel like you can sit and meditate. Okay. Then number 2, time of meditation, and generally they suggest morning time. Generally, early morning time. You know why? Because that is the time when the disturbances are the least and noises are the least, and so therefore it's ideal to choose that kind of a time. And so right now I can see all this, people coming and their trucks and delivering vegetables and this and that, milk and all that is going on now. And so ideally, you can choose a time that's conducive. Early morning is preferred, but it doesn't matter. Any time that you can find a conducive time in your house is always good. So in Shloka number 10, he says, Ekaki yata chittatma. So a time when the mind is yata chittatma, the mind is relaxed. The mind has still not started the busy day, and so that is the time. Otherwise, this thing will kick in. Rajas will kick in, and then after that, nobody can stop you, right? And so therefore, ekaki, and be by yourself, and a time where you can be by yourself. Early morning is good. Why? Because most of the time others are also sleeping. Therefore, even if you want to be in the company of others, you won't have that company. And so ekaki, a time when you can be by yourself. Then third item, proper seat. I think that also we've studied. Nati chritam, nati nicham, chailajina kushottaram. Number 11. So a seat that is thiram, and that is neither too high nor too low. And so have a seat that belongs to you also. So this is something where you can have your own charpa, you can have your own a little nice seat, nice asana, which you can keep for yourself. That way, when you sit on it, you know there's a personal relationship between you and that seat, that asana. Okay. Then fourth item, posture. Posture, we've seen that. So shloka number 13, samam kaya shiro grivam. Kaya, body, the trunk of the body, shira, head, and grivam, neck, they are samam, they are in a straight line. So we've seen all these things. Dharayan nachalan sthiraha. So, and also the body is not shaking, not moving, not oscillating, etc. So that was mentioned. And then he talks about in 13b, which is item number 5, the sense organs. The sense organs have to stop operating during meditation. Okay, this is a basic basic rule, minimum requirement. And so, because mind is also an organ, no doubt, but mind is all we want to use. We don't want to operate our other senses of perception. And so closing the eyes and samprekshan asikagram swam dishaschan avalokayan. And even in the 5th chapter, if you recall, number 27, if you go back to the 5th chapter, and there, chakshushchaivantare bhruvoho. So may the eyeballs settle down to a point where they are, as though focusing between the eyebrows, and here he says pointing towards the tip of the nose. So if you feel like you have to focus the eyes on something, you can imagine focusing on the tip of the nose, but don't stretch it too much. The eyeballs have to be relaxed. Now you can't finish meditation and say, my eyes are hurting. That means something is, you better look into it. After meditation, eyes should not hurt. Okay. And eyes should be relaxed. So eyes are a upalakshanam for sense organs. Upalakshanam means what? Indicatory of all sense organs. Okay. So you can't say I'll have some rasgulla in my mouth and then, or I'll chew some chocolate or toffee or something and then so I can, relax, because our idea of relaxation is all funny, So we need we need to keep on chewing gum. That's it. Chewing gum. I want chewing gum. So keep on chewing while doing meditation because chewing is relaxing, So, okay. So we need to slowly grow out of all these things. Okay. I need to taste this. I need to listen to some music and this and that. So that thing slowly grow out of that. So eyes are upalakshana. It's an indication of all sense organs. And so if you have to play soft music, you can play. But then Krishna doesn't say play soft music. Okay. Okay. So therefore, that is the 5th one, condition of the sense organs, and keep them inoperative. And then breathing is the 6th one. Breathing. Breathing is important because the state of mind and the breathing are very much connected. Okay, an agitated mind is always almost accompanied by fast breathing, shallow breathing. Okay, and so the reverse is therefore true. And so once I modulate my breathing, then that automatically helps in calming the mind. Okay, so chapter 5, he mentioned it. Prana panau samau kritva nasabhyantara charino, 527. Okay, then condition of the mind, which is the 7th one here they're talking here. And so again 527. So the mind is occupied in general throughout the day. So that is why those of you who've been practicing meditation, we start the meditation with this exercise to keep all external things external. Very important thing. External things are always external. It's not like, objects are inside your head, but objects are inside your head. And therefore, keep those things which are supposed to be external, keep them external. Don't internalize them. Only things that have Krishna's teaching, let us internalize, not people and things. Okay. And so, therefore, he said that in the 5th chapter itself, Sparshan Kritva Bahir Bahyan. Such an important phrase it is. Just sitting in one quarter of a shloka in one chapter. And but yet it becomes a very important thing. Swamiji says you can spend time if the meditation, see, you have to assess your meditation process. After half an hour, you have to assess what's happening. What is it that's troubling you? And then if you feel like, thoughts about my people and my house and my family and all job and everything comes, then what you do is you increase that time you spend doing this Parshan Kritva Bahir Bahya. Take a little time. Whatever that bothers, my job bothers me. I have not been getting a promotion for the last 4 years. Bothers me. Yeah. Okay. Acknowledge it. Fantastic. Acknowledge it. And then you think about that. Just briefly think about it and say, no, I've been happy. I've been fortunate. I've been having a job for the last 20, 25 years. And there are people without jobs and all that. Yeah. It would be nice to have a promotion. But now this is a time for myself. This is a time for myself. Half an hour, I'm going to focus on myself. I think I'm blessed to sit here. So use your own, you create your own script. Correct? Create your own script to help yourself. Don't think guided meditation means whatever I'm saying in the meditation and whatever Swamiji said is the script you have to use. No, you can create your own script. Okay. So therefore here, condition of the mind, and then 6:12 also. 6:12, 6th chapter, 12th shloka. Tatraikagram manah kritva. So staying focused, bringing the mind back to the topic of meditation, subject of meditation. Ekagram manah kritva. Next, last 8th one is the status of the intellect. Buddhihi. Buddhihi. So the buddhi has to be convinced, the intellect has to be convinced that the next half an hour I'm going to sit is going to be useful to me. Otherwise, what will happen? You sit for meditation because everybody is doing meditation, and you are really not that interested. And so what will happen? You sit down and you think, what? Sitting like this, doing nothing? I could be taking my dog for a walk right now. I could be washing my car. I haven't done it for 1 month. I've been wanting to do it. Now is the time to do it. Look at this. Sitting for half an hour doing nothing. Is this the kind of ideas you want? This is what will happen. So Buddhi the Sarathi has to say, yeah. And Buddhi has to say, yeah, this is what I want to do. I want to do it the next half an hour is too much. Okay, 15 minutes. Decide that beforehand. Put an alarm if needed. No problem. Do all that. Help yourself. Do whatever it takes to help yourself. Okay. Don't say I have to follow all these rules. Somebody said 1 hour and this and that. This somebody said business. You use it as a guide, not as an edict. Not as an edict. The edict, if you see, then you'll get stuck. There's a risk of getting stuck. Start simple and then grow your meditation. Okay. So because the Kali Yuga, time is not available, and so we have to take all the precautions. And so here, convince yourself. This is a dramatic self-transformation that is happening. I'm allowing myself, giving myself into the hands of Sri Krishna, and so this is not an ordinary journey. And so convince yourself. And so 6:12, if you look at it. Yunjat yogam atma vishuddhaye. So there the buddhi is brought in atma vishuddhi. This is I am going through a process which is a very rare thing, and so it's going to help me in the long run, and therefore the buddhi has to be in line. First step. Okay. Then so that completes the Antaranga Sadhanani, specific disciplines, right? Now, 18 to 32, Shlokas number 18 to 32, describe the process of Dhyanam. Okay, so let's chant that. Yeah. Modi ji, unmute yourself. Yada viniyatam chittam. Okay, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yada, go ahead, sorry.
Yada viniyatam chittam.
Yada viniyatan chittam
Atmanyevavatishthate.
atmanyevavatishthate
Nisprihas sarvakamebhyah.
nispruhas sarvakamebhyah
Yukta ityuchyate tada.
yukta ityuchyate tada
Yatha deepo nivatasthaha.
yatha deepo nivatasthaha
Nengate sopama smrita.
nengate sopama smrta
Yogino yata chittasya.
yogino yata chittasya
Yunjato yogamatmanah.
युञ्जतो योगमात्मनः
Yatro paramate chittam.
यत्रो परमते चित्तम्
Niruddham yoga sevaya.
निरुद्धं योगसेवया
Yatra chaivatmanatmanam.
यत्र चैवात्मनात्मानं
Pashyannatmani tushyati.
पश्यन्नात्मनि तुष्यति
Sukhamatyantikam yattat.
सुखमात्यन्तिकं यत्तत्
Buddhigrahyamatīndriyam.
बुद्धिग्राह्यमतीन्द्रियम्
Vetti yatra na chaivayam.
वेत्ति यत्र न चैवायम्
Sthitaschalati tatvatah.
स्थितश्चलति तत्त्वतः
Yam labdhva chaparam labham.
यं लब्ध्वा चापरं लाभम्
Manyate nadhikam tatah.
मन्यते नाधिकं ततः
Yasmin sthito na dukkhena.
यस्मिन् स्थितो न दुःखेन
Gurunapi vichalyate.
गुरुणापि विचाल्यते
Tam vidya dukkha samyoga viyogam yoga samgnitam.
तं विद्या दुःखसंयोगवियोगं योगसंज्ञितम्
Sanischayena yoktavyaha.
स निश्चयेन योक्तव्यः
Yogo nirvinna chetasa.
योगो निर्विण्णचेतसा
Sankalpa prabhavan kaman.
सङ्कल्पप्रभवान् कामान्
Tyaktva sarvana sheshataha.
त्यक्त्वा सर्वान् शेषतः
Manasaivendriyagramam.
मनसैवेन्द्रियग्रामम्
Viniyamya samantatah.
विनियम्य समन्ततः
Shanai shanairuparamit.
शनैः शनैरुपरमेत्
Buddhya dhriti grihitaya.
बुद्ध्या धृतिगृहीतया
Atmasamstham manah kritva.
आत्मसंस्थं मनः कृत्वा
Na kinchidapi chintayet.
न किञ्चिदपि चिन्तयेत्
Yato nischarati.
यतो यतो निश्चरति
Manaschanchalamasthiram.
मनश्चञ्चलमस्थिरम्
Tatastato niyam yaitat.
ततस्ततो नियम्यैतत्
आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत्
आत्मन्येव वशं नयेत्
प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनम्
प्रशान्तमनसं ह्येनं
योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम्
योगिनं सुखमुत्तमम्
उपैति शान्तरजसम्
उपैति शान्तरजसम्
ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्
ब्रह्मभूतमकल्मषम्
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानम्
युञ्जन्नेवं सदात्मानं
योगी विगतकल्मषः
योगी विगतकल्मषः
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम्
सुखेन ब्रह्म संस्पर्शम्
अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते
अत्यन्तं सुखमश्नुते
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं
सर्वभूतस्थमात्मानं
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
सर्वभूतानि चात्मनि
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
ईक्षते योगयुक्तात्मा
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः
सर्वत्र समदर्शनः
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र
यो मां पश्यति सर्वत्र
सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
सर्वं च मयि पश्यति
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि
तस्याहं न प्रणश्यामि
स च मे न प्रणश्यति
स च मे न प्रणश्यति
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां
सर्वभूतस्थितं यो मां
भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः
भजत्येकत्वमास्थितः
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
सर्वथा वर्तमानोऽपि
स योगी मयि वर्तते
स योगी मयि वर्तते
आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र
आत्मौपम्येन सर्वत्र
समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन
समं पश्यति योऽर्जुन
सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं
सुखं वा यदि वा दुःखं
स योगी परमो मतः
स योगी परमो मतः.
So this 18 to 32, it includes both Dhyanam and Dhyana Phalam, by the way. So we chanted the shlokas for both of them because they are mixed in these shlokas. So the general process here is the mind is going to dwell over, focus over, think about something. This is Vedantic meditation. This process is not, we are not talking about elimination of thoughts. We are not talking about killing of the mind. We are not talking about any of those things. We are not talking about a mystical experience. Nothing like that. There is a particular occupation, vyapara. Okay. Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara or Nirguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara. Correct? So it's a Vyapara. So therefore, we are not looking for a state where the mind is thoughtless. Okay. So all that is different. The purpose may be different, but here we are talking about a particular occupation of the mind. Okay. And therefore, keep that in mind. So what is the subject? What should I think about if you ask? Well, Shravanam was done and the the Mahavakyam was explained, or at least the nature of Atma was explained in chapter 2. Okay, so shlokas number 12 to 25. So after Asocyan Anvasochastvam Prajnavadam cha bhasate Gatasuna Gatasuna Nanu Sochanti Pandita. So after that, Natve Vaham Jatu Nasam Natvam Neme Janadipaha Nachaiva na Bhavishyamaha Sarve Vayamatah Param. All the way. So from there, all the way to number 25. Avyakto Yamachintyoyam Avikadyoyam Uchyate. Okay, that shloka has to be till there. That is the main teaching in the second chapter. And so all that has to be recalled. So Shravanam Mananam recording, like we are recording on Zoom. And then we don't stop with recording. We are supposed to, meant for watching, meant for understanding. Did I understand the class well? Class was good. Okay, class was good. Then what happened in the class? Please tell me in 10 minutes what happened in the class. He said some words I remember. Okay, good. At least some words you remember. Okay, so we must be able to say few things, and so that recollection has to happen. And there are ways to do that. And so we will do all that. And so Atma is Ekaha, Atma is Satyaha, Atma is Ekaha, Atma is one, Atma is Satyam, Atma is the reality, only reality. Then Atma is Nityam, Atma is permanent, always looking for that eternal thing, eternal love. So all these things, we're always looking for some permanence. Well, Atma, you are the only eternal thing in this entire universe. In fact, the entire universe is sustained by that Atma. And then Sarvagataha, Atma is all pervasive, Atma is not finite. Atma is everything, Sarvam. Okay. And then Atma is Asangaha, very important. Asangaha means what? Atma is unaffected by what is happening. Atma sustains everything, but unaffected by what's happening. Very important. Because my idea is that I am a victim. No, I am not a victim. That has to be clear. Okay. And then what? And then of course, Atma is Akarta and Abhokta. So these are all the teachings. These are all important things that we learn from the Shastra. And so that's the subject of this meditation, topic of Dhyanam, topic of meditation. Then Krishna gives about 2 or 3 definitions for this Dhyanam. So generally divided like this. Swami Paramarthananda says like this. Okay. So dharana means it is a focusing on the topic. Okay. Then Dhyanam is retaining that focus. Okay. And then Medidyasanam is complete absorption. Okay. And the complete absorption means what? In Dharanam and Dhyanam, there is free will. You have to use your will. You have to use your will to tell yourself, no, I'm not going to think about anything else right now. I'm going to focus on this japa. All these things, the free will is involved there. Absorption means what? No more free will is involved. Okay. And like you're driving or whatever you're doing, initially effort is needed, but once you are good at it, then there is no longer any effort needed. Without your knowledge, it happens. Okay, that is absorption. So dharana, jhana, and samadhi. And so all those are mentioned here in the shlokas. So for example, and then he says, how is this absorption like? That is given, an example is given in shloka number 19. So yatha dipo nimatastaha nengate sopama smrita. Just like the flame, a protected flame does not move, does not flicker. So in that manner, that is how this samadhi, this dhyana will culminate in that. Okay, that is the example he gives. And then from shloka till 23rd shloka, he gives several definitions. Okay, so and he talks about various ways in which this dhyanam is explained. So chitta uparamanam, the mind subsides. The mind subside means activity subsides. And then Atma Darshanam. Atma Darshanam, the vision of Atma is recalled. Okay. And then Atyantikam Sukham. So I'm just repeating the words that are there in this shlokas, right? So Sukham Atyantikam Yattate. So that Ananda, which is our nature, is expressed. How can you be happy without doing something? How can you be happy without eating Rasagula or Mysore Pak? How can you be happy without all your friends and relatives around you? Well, that's because Atma is Ananda Swarupaha. And so there has to be, that Ananda has to express itself. And so that's what happens. And then Tattva Nishtha, then we are established in our own nature, in that vision. Me Mataha. So that vision, Krishna's vision is my vision also. And then Dukkha Samyoga Viyogam. So that definition also Krishna has given. What is it? Finally, I am not identified with any object. So what is Tam Vidya Dukkha Samyoga Viyogam Yoga Samyitam. So look at yoga as dissociation from the association of the mind with objects. And so mind was never, there is no association possible anyway. But then I have associated myself. And so that association is complete. And that was also described. And so then dukkha nivritti, etc. is there, freedom from sorrow. Okay. So these are the things he gave in terms of what exactly is Dhyanam. Okay. And of course, he mentions so yato nischarati, 26. So as and when the mind does deviate, does think of something else, wander out, then bring the mind back, coax the mind back, get it back. And that is why japa and all is very useful. So those processes were described. And then again, this Dhyana Phalam is also mentioned in this same shloka, this set of 18 to 32. And my view of myself and my view of the world completely, dramatically changes. That is the main benefit of this Dhyanam, main benefit of this Shastra, correct? So previously I thought I was a mortal. Now I'm beginning to see that I am the Atma which is immortal. And body will come and go, but I have taken my body to be myself. And so that dramatic transformation is happening through this Shravanam, Mananam, and Medidyasanam. And so my whole idea of success, my goals, my idea about goals, my idea about life, everything has undergone a dramatic shift. And so that's the main benefit. And so Sarvatra Samadarshanam, shloka number 30. Yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati. Okay, same as the next one also. Sarva bhuta sthitam yomam bhajati ekatvam astita. I see everything in me and myself in everything. Okay, this is Samadarshana, a very important vision. We'll continue to review that in the following chapters, but that's the idea here. And therefore, and then number 27, Prashanta Manasam Sukham Uttavam Upaiti Shanta Rajasam, all that we've seen. And then number 28, Atyantikam Sukham Ashnute, we saw that. Okay. So that is Dhyana Phalam. Okay. Then obstacles to meditation. Okay, that is the next section from 33 to 36. Arjuna Uvacha
Arjuna Uvacha
Yoyam Yogastvaya Proktaha
Yoyam Yogastvaya Proktaha
Samyena Madhusudana
Samyena Madhusudana
Etasyaham na pashyami
Etasyaham na pashyami
Chanchalatvat Sthitim Sthiram
Chanchalatvat Sthitim Sthiram
Chanchalam hi manah Krishna
Chanchalam hi manah Krishna
प्रमाथि बलवदृढम्
pramathi balavadridham
तस्याहं निग्रहं मन्ये
tasyaham nigraham manye
वायोरिव सुदुष्करम्
vayoriva sudushkaram.
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Shri Bhagavanuvacha
असंशयं महाबाहो
asamshayam mahabaho
मनो दुर्निग्रहं चलम्
mano durnigraham chalam
अभ्यासेन तु कौन्तेय
abhyasena tu kaunteya
वैराग्येन च गृह्यते
vairagyena cha grihyate
असंयतात्मना योगः
asamyatatmana yogah
दुष्प्राप इति मे मतिः
dushprapa iti me matihi
वश्यात्मना तु यतता
vashyatmana tu yatata
शक्यो वाप्तुमुपायतः
shakyo vaptumupayatah.
So there are many obstacles, and Krishna focuses on one main obstacle, and that is called agitation. That is vikshepa. So difficult to translate that into English. Vikshepa. Vikshepa means that chanchalatvam. Chanchalatvam. The external ideas come into my mind and disturb me. Okay, that's the whole. That is vikshepa. Okay, and so that is what Arjuna's question is. And chanchalam hi manah Krishna. Hey Krishna, mind is no different than agitation. He says, he doesn't say mind is agitated. He says mind is equal to agitation. That is what he says. Correct? Chanchalam hi manaha. Right? And so for that, Krishna said there are two remedies he had given. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grishyate. So abhyasa, practice. So practice, in this case, practice dhyanam. And then vairagyam. Vairagyam is objectivity. And so ragadveshas are always there. And indriyasyartheshu ragadvesho vyavastito. It is always going to be there. And so I can at any time come under the spell of my raga and dvesha. Preferences can be there, likes and dislikes will always be there. Every person will have it. But then the question is, I want to not come under their spell. And so that vairagya continues to be recommended by Sri Krishna. And then now we will look at the last section, which is, or one section, which is called Yoga Bhrashtaha. And that section is not part of Dhyanam per se. And that comes because of Arjuna's question, Arjuna's doubt about his pursuit. Okay. So, yeah, there we go. Arjuna uvacha
Arjuna uvacha
ayati shraddhayopetaha
ayati shraddhayopetaha
yoga chalita manasaha
yoga chalita manasaha
aprapya yoga samsiddhim
aprapya yoga samsiddhim
kam gatim krishna gacchati
kam gatim krishna gacchati
kachinnu bhaya vidbhrashtaha
kachinno bhaya viprashtaha
छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति
छिन्नाभ्रमिव नश्यति
अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो
अप्रतिष्ठो महाबाहो
विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि
विमूढो ब्रह्मणः पथि
एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण
एतन्मे संशयं कृष्ण
छेतुमर्हस्य शेषतः
छेत्तुमर्हस्य शेषतः
त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य
त्वदन्यः संशयस्यास्य
Cheta na hyupapadyate.
चेत्तानत्युपपद्यते
Shri Bhagavan
श्रीभगवानुवाच
So there is some kind of a echo or something. Are you able to hear? Yeah.
Some disturbance is there.
Hmm. Okay. Shri Bhagavan
श्रीभगवानुवाच
Parthanaiveha namutra
पार्थ नैवेह नामुत्र
vinashastasya vidyate
विनाशस्तस्य विद्यते
nahi kalyana krit kaschit
न हि कल्याणकृत् कश्चित्
durgatim tata gacchati
दुर्गतिं तात गच्छति
prapya punyakritam lokan
प्राप्य पुण्यकृतां लोकान्
ushitva shashwati samaha
उषित्वा शाश्वती समाः
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे
शुचीनां श्रीमतां गेहे
योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते
योगभ्रष्टोऽभिजायते
अथवा योगिनामेव
अथवा योगिनामेव
कुले भवति धीमताम्
कुले भवति धीमताम्
एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम्
एतद्धि दुर्लभतरम्
लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्
लोके जन्म यदीदृशम्
तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगम्
तत्र तं बुद्धिसंयोगम्
लभते पौर्वदेहिकम्
लभते पौर्वदेहिकम्
यतते च ततो भूयः
यतते च ततो भूयः
संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन
संसिद्धौ कुरु नन्दन
पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव
पूर्वाभ्यासेन तेनैव
ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः
ह्रियते ह्यवशोऽपि सः
जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य
जिज्ञासुरपि योगस्य
शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते
शब्दब्रह्माति वर्तते
प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु
प्रयत्नाद्यतमानस्तु
योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः
योगी संशुद्ध किल्बिषः
अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः
अनेकजन्म संसिद्धः
ततो याति परां गतिम्
ततो याति परां गतिम्
Yeah, so a section that was started by, triggered by a question Arjuna asked about, still there is that noise coming, huh, Vijay? No,
Yes.
probably not. Huh?
No, it's gone.
Let's see. So Arjuna's question about what happens just in case the person did not complete the job in this life, what happens? So seems like a legitimate question, but not necessarily connected to Dhyanam. So Krishna says, Nahi kalyana krit kaschit durgatim tata gacchati. No chance. There is no chance of that person losing out at all. So in karma, there is a possibility of losing out, but when it comes to jnanam, that maturity will take the person all the way. Okay. And so that was mentioned here in these shlokas. Very important. And so he says, okay, Ushitva Shashwati Samaha also. So it doesn't mean next Janma you are going to get jnana. Next Janma you can live in Indraloka, you can go to a loka where you'll be amazed, you'll be thankful for your life. So like this, you may live long. And then afterwards, you'll come back to this Shuchinam Srimatam in a family which will which will provide the environment that is conducive for gaining this knowledge. Okay, so with that, we'll go to the next section, which is 46 and 47, where Krishna is concluding this chapter. Okay. So Vijay, is anybody else there besides Swapna that you had informed?
Yeah. Swapnaji is there.
Okay, and after Swapna, anybody else is waiting or no?
No.
Tapasvibhyodhiko yogi
तपस्विभ्योऽधिको योगी
ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि matodhikaha.
ज्ञानिभ्योऽपि मतोऽधिकः.
So adhik means extra. Here adhika gone. So less than adhik. Karmibhyascha adhiko yogi.
कर्मिभ्यश्चाधिको योगी
Tasmad yogi bhavarjuna.
तस्माद्योगी भवार्जुन.
Yoginamapi sarvesham.
योगिनामपि सर्वेषां
Madgatenantaratmana.
मद्गतेनान्तरात्मना.
Shraddhavan bhajate yomam.
श्रद्धावान् भजते यो माम्
Same yuktatamo mataha.
समे युक्ततमो मतः.
OmTatSat.
ॐ तत्सत्.
Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gitasu
इति श्रीमद्भगवद्गीतासु
Upanishatsu
उपनिषत्सु
Brahma Vidyayam
ब्रह्मविद्यायां
Yoga Shastre
योगशास्त्रे
Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade
श्रीकृष्णार्जुनसंवादे
Atma Samyama Yogo Nama
आत्मसंयमयोगो नाम
Shashtodhyayah.
षष्ठोऽध्यायः.
So Krishna concludes by saying this particular process of Medidyasanam culminates in moksha, and therefore that person who got moksha, who is also called a yogi in this shloka number 46, that person has achieved what is to be achieved, and he says it in a different way. So all the tapas, all the jnanam, all the other types of knowledge he has gained, and all the karmas he has done or she has done has gained fulfillment in moksha, and therefore that person, therefore tasmat yogi bhava, therefore be that yogi, Arjuna. Like that he concludes in 46, and similar message in 47 also. And so that basically concludes this chapter, and which is called Atma Samyama Yoga or Dhyana Yoga. So I want to once again acknowledge the blessings from Swami Dayananda Ji, Dakshinamurti, all our acharyas, all our Ishtadevatas for providing us this environment, this circumstance where with all the pandemic raging and things like that, we were able to sit down quietly, even if it is 1 or 2 hours a week only, still we could sit and were able to study chapter 6 and even exchange question and answers and so forth. And so very acknowledge all the blessings that we have received, and I thank all of you for patiently attending all these classes despite all the duties that you have. And many of you have also gone back and looked at the videos and sent me messages periodically, and so I'm happy that the process has been working for us. And again, thanks to the blessings that we have. So with that, let's conclude today's class. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते। ओम शांति शांति शांति। हरिः ओम। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।